Hey guys, it's Nino. Thanks for tuning in. So I wanted to make a video and just kind of share my story with you guys and tell you why I do what I do and how I kind of got started and what has really kept me motivated being in this whole health journey for almost 10 years now. So the truth is, when I was 10 years old, I actually watched my dad die from a heart attack, and that was in 2002. It happened right before my eyes. It was something that was very unexpected, and it's not like he was sick or anything. Well, I mean, he did get sick a couple of days prior to that, but it's not something that me or anyone in my family anticipated because he was really young. He was only 35 years old at the time, and we knew that he had high cholesterol, and that was about it. I know my mom said that they went to a couple of doctors and things like that. They gave him some medication, but it didn't really work, and his lifestyle wasn't really the best as in regards to like what he ate, because I mean, I grew up on junk, so like if when you meet me now and a lot of people wonder, how in the world do I live and eat this, the way that I do? Well, the truth is I didn't grow up that way. I mean, I grew up eating fast food, pizza, soda, a bunch of ice cream, like chocolate, sugar, all of that. And when my dad got sick and he ended up passing away from a heart attack, and I saw that right in front of my eyes, that was a very significant moment in my life, because I was 10 years old and I literally just saw one of the most important people in my life just disappear. And I think when and I know a lot of other people who have lost their parents at a young age can relate to the fact that something like that changes you for the rest of your life, because you can't unsee such things. And so when that happened, I became very closed off and very shy, and throughout my junior high school years, I was very closed off. I kind of kept all my feelings bottled up and internal, and at the same time, right after my dad passed away, my mom decided to take me and my sister to get tested to see if there was anything wrong with us, and it turned out that we also had something that was called familial hypercholesterolemia, and that's called hereditary high cholesterol, essentially, meaning that there is a genetic component associated to the reason why we have excess cholesterol in our bodies, and that diet alone can't fix that, right? So we had to be put onto medication, and then we were also diagnosed with hypothyroidism, and we were put onto medication for that reason as well. And ever since I was 10 years old, I have been going to a doctor about every 6 months and getting blood work done and kind of changing my medication, seeing if there's anything else out there or, whatnot. And when you're that little and all of a sudden the doctors tell you like, oh my God, you have this life-threatening condition and you have to take medication for it for the rest of your life. There's nothing that you can do. And you go to school and all your friends are kind of just eating whatever, they're not going to nutritionists, they're not going to dietitians, they're not visiting the doctor every like couple of months. You start to feel like an outcast. And yeah, it's, you close off, and that's kind of what happened to me, because I started to feel like an outcast, and I didn't really want to tell people about my condition because I thought that I was weird. And if you're telling a young, a kid, oh, I have high cholesterol, they're gonna look at you like you're freaking crazy, because they're like, what's cholesterol? I mean, this is something that people that are older talk about, right? Whereas now I'm 10 years old talking about this condition that older people get, because internally, this is what's happening in my body. And so even though I don't look the part, right? And even nowadays, even though as clean as I eat, you know, I'm primarily plant-based. I don't eat anything processed or packaged. I don't eat any gluten or dairy or refined sugars. So, you know, and I tell people that I have FH, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy because they don't understand it, right? It's all of a sudden, because we're so conditioned to seeing people talk about heart conditions when they're older, and that's what all the commercials show us. They never show people that are young, that are my age. And I'm 26 right now, and I have familial hypercholesterolemia, which is, like I said, hereditary high cholesterol. So diet alone, as clean as I eat, hasn't helped me control that. I still have to take medication. And so one of the reasons that I've entered this health journey and things like that, and I'm so passionate about it, is because even though they tell me that I can't control it with nutrition and diet, I'm like on this crazy mission to prove that somehow maybe there is a way to manage even hereditary high cholesterol with nutrition and diet. I have not been able to do that yet, but that is my mission, and I'm coming out and I'm just going to tell you guys what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and so you guys know what it is that keeps me this motivated. And what keeps me this motivated is to prove to everybody that there is a way. And maybe I'll never find it, but maybe I will, right? And the only way you can really test and measure that is to experiment with your own body, which is kind of what I do. And I've been doing this for quite some time. So when I first entered my health journey, I was going from like major party girl, because after all my shyness in junior high school, in high school, what ended up happening was I just decided to become a social butterfly and just, you know, go to parties, and I started drinking and going out to clubs and all of that stuff. And even though I did well in school, I always had great grades, you know, and I worked and everything, I, you know, had a moment of rebellion in the sense of, you know what, I am not Nino, the girl with high cholesterol, right? Like, I should be able to go out with my friends and eat whatever I want and to do the same thing everyone else does. And if everyone's drinking, I should be able to drink also. And so that's what I did. Obviously, that didn't make me feel any better. If anything, it only made my symptoms worse, because I started over time, right? At first I felt okay, but then over time I started to feel sluggish and fatigued, and then sometimes I wouldn't take my medication because I was like, I don't need this, I can live without it, even though I really can't. And then especially since I'm like doing all this stuff that's causing major inflammation, you know, it's like as if I didn't even care, because I just had so much maybe hurt built up inside or things like that. And eventually I started, you know, having issues with eating and things like that. And it was just a whole roller coaster nightmare now that I think about it. And when I talk about it, it's almost as if I'm talking about a whole nother Nino that existed compared to the way that I am now and the way that I view life. But eventually all that partying did catch up to me, and I realized that I'm not meant for this, and I'm meant for something bigger. I'm meant for something greater, and I think that my body deserves to be treated better. And I realized that I wasn't loving my body at all. If anything, I was doing everything I could to destroy it, and that was not something that eventually I wanted to be a part of. Reading The Secret also, that changed my whole outlook on life and really taught me how to start to love myself. And in that process and deciding to start my health journey, to say to myself, you know what? I know that almost every single doctor, well, every doctor told me that there's no way I'll ever come off of any of my medication. I am going on a mission to prove them wrong. And over the course of a couple of years, I first started with the raw vegan diet, which was like the most extreme of the extremists. And I decided to start with that because I came across a girl named Feliva Christina, and she had hyperglycemia, and she decided to go on to, you know, the whole raw food movement, and she was able to heal her body and has never went back to a doctor since that. And she's been doing this, well, nowadays she's been doing it for over a decade now. So I was really inspired by her story, and I was like, well, you know, if she could do that, maybe I could do that with my conditions. And so I decided to be a raw vegan. Now, let me say that being raw vegan, I loved it. I loved it because I love fruit, I love sugar, and I was like, what? I get to eat fruit all day long? Yeah, sign me up, I could do this. So I did that. And I had a ton of energy, I felt great, I lost weight, I felt like I got more toned, my skin became a lot more flawless, like I didn't have, like my pores got smaller, I felt like I didn't have as many breakouts anymore, like I did prior to that. My face wasn't getting as greasy anymore, and it just all started to really even out and tone out and just kind of become more defined and firm and tighter, and I was loving it. Unfortunately, the raw vegan diet wasn't sufficient for my conditions. So instead, it actually made my cholesterol go up a lot more, and it also didn't help me heal my thyroid. So, you know, that's something to keep in mind. So even though I was feeling amazing eating all this food, internally, what was happening in my body was that when I didn't take my medication and I was living this way, what was happening was that it just wasn't serving me. And I, you know, when that happened, because I was so pro raw veganism, I didn't really know how to feel. I felt discouraged. I felt upset because I invested so much time and so much energy and so much commitment into changing my entire lifestyle, even though all my friends and family thought I was insane, because they said, Nino, you cannot live and survive on just fruit. And I'm like, yes, you actually can. There's fruitarians out there, and there's other people that live this way for many years, and they're great. And there are people that do thrive on a fruitarian diet, and honestly, I love the fruitarian lifestyle and diet. However, I do not live in the tropics, so in the winter it gets very difficult, and it wasn't doing what I needed to do, because remember, my mission is to prove that there is some kind of a way or some kind of method or steps that you can take in your diet or nutrition or exercise and partner them up together, and maybe the way that it's done or what you're consuming, how much you're consuming, where you can actually heal your body, even though this condition is genetic. And when I saw my blood work and I saw the numbers and I saw that that wasn't doing it, I was very disappointed. And so after a couple of days of being disappointed, I was about to give up. And then I said, you know what? No. There's got to be a way. So I went back to research. I started researching again and researching and researching. And then I said to myself, you know what? Maybe I can't really do that for my cholesterol right now, but how about my thyroid? Like, my thyroid isn't genetic, you know, and why do I have this problem with my thyroid? And I was told that also I'd never be able to come off my thyroid medication. And after doing a lot of research, I also ended up enrolling into the Institute of Integrative Nutrition to become a certified health coach. And in that process, I studied a lot of different diets and theories, and watched a lot of different talks and presentations from doctors that have a more holistic approach to healing. And I discovered that in order to heal your thyroid, and there have been many other people prior to myself who were diagnosed with hypothyroidism, and when they developed this new lifestyle, were able to heal their bodies. And what that lifestyle involves is it involves a high-fat diet. So instead of eating a lot of carbs, what you do is you primarily consume a lot of healthy fats. And you focus on protein, fat, and fiber, right? PFF. And when I first heard that, I was like, wait, what does that mean? Oh, okay, protein, fat, fiber. All right, so I get my protein in, I get my fiber from my greens and my vegetables, especially my leafy greens, and then my healthy fats. So like olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, then avocados, raw nuts, what else? Nut butters as well, right? Things like that. And that's what you primarily consume. And that has been shown in many cases to have healed people who have thyroid issues. And even though I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I'm so used to eating fruit all the time, but I was willing to give it a chance because my mission, it was to come off of my medication. And the first week or two were probably the hardest because I had no idea what to eat, right? Now think about it. I'm used to waking up and eating fruit. Like, it's sweet, delicious, and you know, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to cook it. You don't, I mean, all you have to do is really cut it for some of it if it's not berries, and that's it. You just eat it. And now I'm waking up and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, well, what am I going to eat? Because when I was raw vegan, fat was bad. And my whole life, I mean, side note, my whole life I was taught that fat is bad, especially if you have high cholesterol. Like, I was put onto a very low fat diet, and I could only buy things that were low fat. If it wasn't low fat, I wasn't allowed to consume it. And I used to, like, some of the days I felt like I was starving almost. But anyways, and now I found this research that said, no, eat fat. Fat is good. It's the carbs that are, you know, causing all that other wackiness and craziness. And then especially if you're partnering carbs and fat together, it's causing a lot of inflammation, a lot of, you know, it's going to trap the fat and kind of keep it locked inside your body and not let it go. So I started to eat a lot of avocados. That helped me out, and I started making my own chocolate pudding that I always talk about. It has a avocado and almond butter base with some coconut milk, and then I add some shredded almonds or shredded coconut. It's really delicious. You guys can check out some of my recipes to see it. I'll definitely make a recipe video on it as well because I get the most asked questions about it. And after a couple of months of, you know, eating this way and my body slowly adjusting, and I took out, you know, gluten completely, soy completely, I took that all out. And then I started to weigh myself off of my thyroid medication slowly until eventually I ran out of it, and then I just didn't get a refill. And that was January of 2017. So it is now July 2018, so about a year and a half later, and I don't take medication for my thyroid. Can I get a clap? I'm just gonna clap for myself. I healed my thyroid, and Honestly, the first couple of months I was a little cautious. I also didn't announce it to anyone because I was like, well, what if it starts acting up? And then I told everyone that I'm not taking my medication. Well, guys, it's been a year and a half and I have not taken a single pill for my thyroid since last January 2017 when my medication ran out. And I have completed one of my missions, and that is to say that it is possible to heal your body and it is possible to heal your thyroid with diet. And oh my God, like just staring at the camera right now and knowing that you guys are watching this at home or like on the train or in your car or at work, wherever it is you are, and to be able to finally announce it and say that, I can't even explain it. It's the most amazing feeling ever. Because what I'm saying to you is the fact that there's hope. And this just proves that lifestyle, nutrition, exercise, and diet plays an enormous amount of, it just plays an enormous impact in your body. And to me, that's fascinating because what that does is that it actually strengthens my faith in the fact that I will one day prove that diet and nutrition can help manage hereditary high cholesterol without medication. One disclaimer is that only if you have hereditary high cholesterol. Unfortunately, I don't think that just diet alone is going to help those who have homozygous familial hypercholesterolemia, and I'll tell you why. It's because individuals that are homozygous with FH, they actually have a, it's a genetic condition that's passed down from both parents, and in those individuals, their cholesterol is like a lot worse than what a person with heterozygous high cholesterol has. And so I think that most likely they're going to need a lot more help, and they are going to have to rely on medication to help them really filter out all of that extra cholesterol, because I'm an FH advocate with the FH Foundation, and I have a lot of friends who are homozygous FH, and I know their struggles, and that's why I don't want to say that if I'm able to do it, that's the cure and the end all be all to everybody, because in some cases that's not true, and the medication really does help, and we're very blessed to have those resources here in the States for them, and for myself included, obviously, because growing up, if I didn't have that medication, I really don't know where I'd be today, and that's the truth. However, that doesn't mean that I'm still not on a mission to try and experiment with my body and see how far I can push. So not cool. I don't know why it cut me off. Probably have been talking forever. But anyways, that being said, one day when I'm able to prove this, that doesn't mean that I'm going to expect everyone who has familial hypercholesterolemia to change their entire diet and lifestyle. But it is something that I am very fascinated with, and I'm just telling you guys what keeps me motivated in my health journey and what keeps me going, because there's a mission and there's something that I am after. And I really just wanted to share that with all of you because it's a backstory to really who I am as a person and what I stand for and why I do what I do. And I think by you guys now knowing my story and where I'm coming from, it'll help you get more motivated to start your own health journey, or realize maybe that there is a mission that, you know, you might have not thought you had until now. And I just encourage you to, you know, think about starting your health journey, because I promise one thing in this entire process, what I found is that I have become a happier, more focused Nino, and a Nino that is actually, you know, in love with the person that she is and that she is becoming and that she strives to be. And I think that's very important, because in order for us to, you know, have amazing experiences in life and enjoy meaningful relationships, I think the first thing that you have to do is fall in love with yourself. And that kind of goes back to the reason why I recently started my own community for women on Facebook. It's called the Happy Sexy You. And if you type in Happy Sexy You on Facebook and go to the groups, you'll see it there. It's a private group, and it's a place for women to feel free to share their stories and their journeys or their transformations, and or share their struggles, and for other women to provide encouragement to them, as well as share their own stories and have other people provide encouragement to them. I believe in all things good and positive, and I believe in kindness and giving back and doing what's good globally, and to treat people the way you would want to be treated, and to try and always better yourself and to love yourself and to do and participate in all the things that are going to make you a better person, because that will only result in a happier, better version of yourself. And that's the whole point of living to me. I want to feel the best that I possibly can. And so that's why I'm going to try and attract all the things that are going to make me feel that way, as well as do and act in a way that is kind and caring and thoughtful, because that's what I believe is the most important thing in life. And so if you are a woman and you are interested in being surrounded by other like-minded women who are all about positivity and growth, and whether you're already on a health journey or just starting out, please feel free to join my community. I want it to be a place that eventually becomes independent of myself, and just a place where women can network and they can talk about their journeys, or maybe they want to talk about their kids and being a mom, or being a, you know, what is it like to be a teenager who's trying to resist all the peer pressure that's going on. And or, you know, or maybe you are somebody who's been struggling with weight loss a lot and you're looking for tips, then please come and join our community. I do run monthly challenge groups. There are monthly 5-day challenges that anyone can do, whether it's a clean eating challenge, which I'm running the first ever clean eating challenge this week. Today's day 2. And whether it's a gratitude challenge or a self-love challenge, there's always something that's going to be happening every single month, because I want to push you guys and I want to provide that environment of constant positivity and constant encouragement and inspiration to you and to all women to be proactive in the course of their life and the path in which they're choosing to take in their life, because I want everyone to feel amazing, and I would love for you guys to join me in that journey. Also, please subscribe to my channel. That would mean a lot to me. I am working on creating more videos for you guys, especially recipes, because that's really what I get the most questions about. So I figured if that's what everyone's asking me and that's what everyone wants, then, well, that's what everyone is gonna get. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at naturallynino. And then if you have any other comments or questions for me, just leave them below. I'll make sure to get back and answer you. And if there's anything that you want to see more of, or just have any other random questions, please ask away. Like, don't be shy. I'll read everything. And if there's something specific you want answered, also ask me and I'll make sure to answer it for you. Until next time, bye guys.